Hey, you're looking good today. This is Frank in the Brazil Times newsroom. Here's what's happening. Wow, you have a big 16-page newspaper today, Brazil, and you can pick that up, plus all of these inserts. I mean, look at this. Just a whole lot of information for you. I'll put those right over here, and you can look through them later. But in the news today, a local girl, age 8, has a passion for racing. Van Buren Elementary incoming third grader Aaliyah Grace McVeigh just might be the fastest 8-year-old girl in Clay County. After showing interest in quarter midget racing, her parents, Christina and Christopher McVeigh, took Aaliyah, who was 4.5 years old at the time, to an Arrive and Drive event in Terre Haute, where she could watch the races and later take a couple spins in a car, and that did it for her. And you can read more about that on today's edition of the Brazil Times. Also, we have a report from the Livestock Auction Friday. Each year, the Clay County 4-H Fair wraps up with money off the hoof, turning into money in the pocket. The 4-H members who show the larger animals escort their prizes into the auction arena and watch as adults, many from local businesses, bid. Then the animals are taken away, and usually the 4-H member doesn't see them again. Quite often, 4-H auction prices are higher than market value. That sounds like a good deal for the 4-H'er, who will get paid for the many hours spent feeding, training the animal to compete for showmanship and grooming. But, of course, the downside is after they've spent all those hours, they tend to become attached to the animal. And, of course, that piggy or that cow is gone. And you can read more about how that works. And we talked to some people, found out how the kids react to the auction. And also that something I didn't know, the 4-H has a commission, I guess you would call it that, about 4% of the money raised in the auction goes back to 4-H. And if you were at the fair this year, you saw that beautiful, and when the temperatures approached 90 degrees, I mean, it was a beautiful ceiling fan that was about 12 foot across that was very quiet but kept the air moving inside the arena and certainly made the shows much more comfortable than they would have been otherwise. We have here the 7th annual Pearson D. Hart Memorial Golf Scramble is set for Saturday at Forest Park Golf Course. The tee time is 1 o'clock with lunch starting at noon. The scramble honors the late Pearson D. Hart, who passed away at 22 months old with multiple medical problems. And his parents and event organizer Melissa and Christy Hart say that as a result of the community's support for Pearson's condition, things will look much better for them. And we're certainly thinking about the family of Pearson D. Hart, who passed away at age 22 months. Hey, there's a guy on the front page today. His name is Clarence Maxwell. You've seen him 1,000 times. Yes, you have. But you didn't know he was from Brazil. He's a bad guy. I mean, he's a bad dude. I can remember watching him on The Lone Ranger and in a lot of other TV shows and movies. He was known in Brazil as Snub, Clarence Snub Maxwell. He was born July 24th, 1909, grew up in Brazil with his brothers Paul and William Maxwell, the sons of Mr. and Mrs. Walter Maxwell. And Clarence caught the acting bug early in his life, performing in the 3-act play titled Youth at the Epworth Church. And I'll tell you what, you take a look at his picture, you're going to say, I know him, I've seen him on TV. Well, he's from Brazil. A lot of people are from Brazil that you might not know are from Brazil. Speaking of people from Brazil, there is a show you may want to see, House Hunters International. It's going to air tonight at 10:30 p.m. and Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. on HGTV, and it features one of our local folks. So be sure and check out House Hunters International. That fella is not nearly as old, or that couple, I should say, is not nearly as old as Snub Maxwell, who has passed away, but nevertheless, you probably recognize him. You might have seen him at the Dairy Queen, who knows. Let me see. We have lots of local news for you inside today's edition of the Brazil Times that you'll want to look at, including more pictures from the auction. And let's see here. Let's see. Got all kinds of neat stuff. Wasn't able to do the look back this week that year. No, things just got too hectic around the old newsroom, and we weren't able to get to that. But nevertheless, maybe that'll return next week. We don't know. In sports, Kerry Fox, the hardest working sports editor in the nation, reports hammer down dirt racetracks are a test of man, metal, and machinery. Such was the case Saturday night at Lincoln Park Speedway as a lightning-fast racing surface tested the race drivers on hand. A.J. Hopkins bested 17 other sprint car pilots in dominant fashion, topping Kevin Thomas Jr. by nearly a straightaway after a late race caution. Kenny Wallace was able to edge out Greencastle's Josh Bowler in a thrilling UMP modified main event, and you can read all about that, as well as news from the British Open and Indianapolis Colts and all kinds of things. Oh, yeah, the World Series of Poker. You're probably interested in that. You can read about that. Got a picture here of the Brazil High School class of 72 as they celebrated their reunion. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Got a report about O.J. Simpson and what he's going to face once he gets out of jail, probably around October 1st. And got a Clay County Planner. You want to check that out because Clay County Planner has all kinds of stuff that you'll want to be involved in, and you can check that out. That's just the first section, the first of two sections. I mean to tell you, got a big paper for you today. Club news in section B, engagement announcements, birth announcements. Oh boy, I tell you, more local news than you can shake a stick at. That's a fact. So you'll want to check it all out in today's edition of the Brazil Times. Remember, Saturday's edition, we have on the front page the guys who give. Clay County donated $3,300 to the Clay County Youth Food Delivery Program. They posed for a picture with a bunch of kids from the YMCA summer camp. And you can see that picture, and you can read about how that money was received by the YMCA and what it's going to be used for. Also have on Saturday's paper, a semi driver died in an I-70 crash. You probably heard about it. Well, we've got more information for you about that deadly crash. Also in Saturday's edition, we've got a report from the rocket shoot. And that was a lot of fun for the kids and for those who watched it too. A lot of fun. Conviction stands for attempted pharmacy robber. The Indianapolis man who attempted to rob the Kroger pharmacy in Brazil last year had his conviction for that crime upheld this week by the Indiana Court of Appeals. Stacy Lamont Griffin, age 26, argued whether the Clay County Court's decision to conduct group voir dire, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but anyway, it happens to be a juror examination, whether that deprived him of a fair and impartial jury, and the appellate court said, nope, you're staying in jail, fella. So that's something. I remember when that happened. Do you remember when they tried to rob the Kroger pharmacy? Boy, that was scary. That was scary. We don't have things like that happen in Brazil very often. Brazil's a good town, good place to live. Ask Snub. Snub would tell you that Brazil was a good place to grow up after living in L.A., I'm sure. And Reverend Given, St. Vincent Clay Hospital chaplain, he has a column to make us think. He says, simply say hello. And, well, let's check out our kids. They're in Section B if you're looking for them today. Or in Saturday's paper, this is what they had. Dennis the Menace. Dennis says, I thought you were going on a business trip, Dad. Why are you taking your golf clubs? Yeah, busted, Dad. Busted. But, you know, Dad's got to relax too, even on those business trips. And then Dolly and PJ and Jeffy. I don't know where Billy is. Billy's not in the cartoon today, but the rest of the kids are. Anyway, they're at the zoo, and Dolly says, that snake's a boa constrictor. He can hug you to death. Well, yes, he can. Yes, he can. I wouldn't mess with him. I wouldn't mess with him. You remember the first of the Harry Potter films where he starts talking to that snake, and the glass melts away and the snake gets out and scares everybody to death? I'll tell you, I don't like snakes. I like Mondays, though, because I get to spend more time with you. And I want to say good morning to Leela. Boy, I can't see your name. Let me get my eyes on here. Leela Short. Good morning, Leela. Glad to see you today. We'll catch you later.